Batman Arkham Origins. What can I say? It's a total glitch fest. And that is sad in a game that is this good. The storyline is wonderful. I love how they worked in the first time of Batman meeting most of his rogues gallery. And you have old favorites like Killer Croc, Bane, Firefly, and of course the Joker, as well as new people like Shiva that have never been in the games before. The way the story plays out and unfolds, it could not have been better. It was a train ride from nearly the beginning, from the breakout at Blackgate Prison all the way to the end, where you learn the reason why Joker is so obsessed with Batman and why he wants not to kill him but to break him, and why he doesn't really care who's under the mask at a certain point anymore. Unfortunately, there are going to be a few spoilers in this video because I'm going to open our little goodie bag that came with the collector's edition that we'll get to in just a minute. Unfortunately, the glitches were just, there was a lot of them. And I talked to a few other people that also have the game and played the game, and they experienced these as well. So it just wasn't my Xbox. And there was a couple of different ones. I actually even had the game crash my Xbox as I'm playing. And it's ridiculous that a game would do this. And honestly, it feels a little rushed. And I don't know why they rushed it. There was no need to rush it. We could have waited till Christmas to have gotten this game, being that it is set at Christmas. The whole game takes place on Christmas Eve over about an 8-hour period. So they could have waited till Christmas and ironed out some of the uneven points. Some of the other glitches I experienced were the worst one, and the one that never failed to happen. One of the new things about Batman Arkham Origins as opposed to the other Arkham games is you can actually go back to the Batcave. And the city is much, much larger. They actually did a really good job of making you feel like you're in the same place as Arkham City. There's just more of it to explore, and it feels so much bigger than Arkham City did. So they worked in a fast travel system. So when you leave the Batcave, without fail, whenever you get into the Batwing, the sound cuts out, and then when it does come back in, it freezes. The video you just seen was actually the worst instance of this glitch that I actually experienced. Most of the time it wasn't that bad. That was the worst. Another one that I encountered was what I like to term the infinite load loop, where I would try to go to a certain area of the game, and I think it's when I actually had to blow out a panel to drop down into the hotel room where the Joker was, which was the Joker's first meeting with Batman, or so you think. They work in a lot of things about Joker's backstory. They even talk about and show where he was forced to dress up like the Red Hood, and Batman inadvertently knocks him into the acid bath. But as I try to drop down into this first meeting with the Joker, the Batman logo comes up and starts spinning like normal, and it just never goes away. And it just continues to load, and I eventually had to turn the Xbox off. So there's just some things that are almost unforgivable. That literally my Xbox crashed so much that there was a point in time where I actually said, is it worth it to finish this game? Because I would have to get up and turn my Xbox off and then turn it back on. But like I said, the story, there's so many ins and outs of this story, and they tell you so many things, and they really set up a lot of things that happen in the later games. Like in this game, we learn how the Joker gets the steel mill from Black Mask, because he actually takes Black Mask prisoner. Now, I guess I should have said spoiler warning before that, but so from here on out, if you've been watching the video, you should stop it now, because I'm going to get into a few spoilers. This whole night, we think it's actually Black Mask doing all this stuff that has put out the bounty on Batman. But it turns out that from the very beginning, it is the Joker. Because when the game first starts and when the story begins, Joker wants to kill Batman because he dropped him in the acid and turned him into the crazed, homicidal being that he is today. And he wanted to end Batman because of that. But eventually, after Batman saves his life, he changes his mind. And also, for the first time, we get to see the meeting of Joker and Harley Quinn at Blackgate, because Arkham at this time doesn't exist yet. And in fact, during the credits, there's an interview on the Jack Ryder Show with Warden Quincy Sharp about how he blames the entire night, the whole fiasco of the bounty, Firefly, Bane, Electrocutioner, Copperhead, Deathstroke, all of it. He doesn't blame it on the cops, doesn't blame it on Batman. He blames it on Blackgate, for Blackgate being incapable of holding these extreme offenders. So he talks about how he's going to open Arkham. So it sets it up for Arkham Asylum. So they really did a good job of tying things together, wrapping things up. Any questions you had, they answered a lot of them. And they kind of set it up at the end where there could possibly be a sequel to Arkham Origins, because Amanda Waller comes in and throws Deathstroke a contract that has Suicide Squad on it. And we all know where that will lead. And it's possible that they could make an entire game out of it. And honestly, one of the biggest qualms I had about the game is it felt too short. And there was a lot of times, like Killer Croc, he felt so much like a pushover that I was disappointed in how Killer Croc was portrayed, because he's the first boss you come up against. And I understand that the first boss always has to be a pushover because you're not ready to fight him yet in your current state. But they could have put someone else there, like Executioner or whatnot. And even Executioner, which was one of the further bosses, third I think, he goes down in one hit. You know, why couldn't they have swapped that with Croc and at least made Croc a little more imposing? Because when he does show back up later in the game, he gets shot one time and he just says, "I'm out of here," and he turns around and leaves. You think you're going to fight Croc again, but he pussies out and runs away from getting shot one time. And he's just overly small compared to the other incarnations. And they kind of explain, because when Bane starts, he's smaller than he is in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but they explain that by him injecting another substance into him that's stronger than Venom. I think it's TN1 that just bulks him out. He just goes crazy and his muscles just expand. And that's a very interesting boss fight, because you've already fought Bane once, and if you go back and you fight a boss again, you want it to be a little bit different. But honestly, it almost felt a little bit like the Freeze fight from Arkham City, where you couldn't just take him head on, you had to take him stealthily, and he would eventually figure out, if you tried to crawl through the air ducts on the floor, he would eventually punch them out and look for you in there. So it kind of felt a little bit of an overused tactic, but it worked with Bane the way they did it. But overall, it's a good game. The story's really good. The graphics and the artwork, I love how they do the younger Joker with his leather trench coat. It really works really well. One of the things that I'm disappointed about is the lack of Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman. Now, I know I'm probably being a little bit of a fanboy here, but they said they didn't want to use Kevin because they wanted a younger Batman and they wanted his voice to sound younger. Well, I honestly thought that the one voicing him in Arkham Origins actually sounded older than Kevin Conroy. Not saying that he did a bad job. He actually did a really wonderful job. But when you bring a lot of people back, a lot of the voice actors from Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, why can't Kevin come back? Because obviously you want these people to sound younger too, so why not recast everyone? So I'm a little disappointed with that. And I understand that Mark Hamill wasn't going to be back because he officially retired as the Joker, and they ended his story in Arkham City with a wonderful performance. And it really was a wonderful performance out of Mark Hamill in Arkham City. So we knew that Joker wasn't going to be voiced by Mark Hamill in this game. And I've also heard that Rocksteady's working on a sequel to Arkham City, which I guess we'll dub Arkham World until something else comes out. But I think that's it. Let's open this little goodie bag real quick. Here we go. Warning, contains spoilers. Let's see what it is. If it's what I'm thinking it is, it's going to be really cool. Yep, just what I thought. It's Black Mask's mask. And I'm assuming that this will fit on this statue here somewhere. Let's see if I can figure that out real quick. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yes, it actually replaces Joker's head on the statue, so it's almost like he's wearing a Black Mask mask. That is awesome. And after that, I honestly don't know how I would display this. If I will display it with Joker's actual head with the paint, or if I leave it on there with Black Mask. Just something I'll have to decide on later. But there it is. That's the spoiler that was in the bag. Has Black Mask's mask. Of course, as we've seen, the Joker is actually portraying Black Mask in the game. He takes his place so he can make all these other supervillains think that he has $50 million to give them for killing Batman. So that's awesome. Got the GCPD evidence on top of it. In case you're wondering, there's Joker's head. Might be kind of weird just to have it laying up there. That would be something Joker would do. But anyway, if you haven't already picked up this game, you may want to wait until the first update comes out to maybe fix some of these glitches that we've been having. But I do definitely recommend that you pick it up and play it, because the story really is excellent, and it ties up a lot of things, and it really is worth it just to play the story.